Hello and welcome back to Tournament Central of the 2021 Elkhart County Historical Museum Collections Tournament. We got a slobber knocker of a matchup today. We have the Chap Record Book going up against Maude Essig's World War I trunk. Who will be the winner? You will determine who that's going to be. Each staff member has 2 minutes to make their case and tell the story of their item and why they think it should move on. And in the end, as always, you're going to vote to see which goes on to the Final Four. So let's send it out to our staff to tell the story of each of their objects.
Hello, I'm excited to tell you more about Bernice and her chaps. Thanks for voting us into the Elite Eight. In 1900, I said that Bernice was living in the Elkhart County Jail. Well, that's actually because her father was the Elkhart County Sheriff, and at the time, the sheriff and his family lived right in the jailhouse with all of the prisoners. So I'm sure that was a very colorful period of Bernice's life. Unfortunately, it was followed pretty quickly by a family tragedy. In 1905, when Bernice was just 16 years old, she lost her mother, followed the next year by her grandmother, who was also living with them. That was the year that she got this book. But despite the sad times, or maybe even because of them, Bernice became a very outgoing and active young woman. And that's clear in all of the variety of places that she meets her chaps, different locations around Goshen and the surrounding counties, as well as Chicago, Detroit, New York, where she went to school for a little while and obviously brought the book with her. And we can also see that in the Goshen newspapers, where her name shows up over 200 times in the society pages at different events, and her traveling around and things like that. We know in 1908 she helped run a 300-person tea at Mrs. Lotta's house, and at a similar event in 1906, we see in the Chap record that she met a Walter White there. She thought he was good-looking and very pleasant, but rather young. We also see in an article announcing a party that she attended with several other young people, that all of the boys in that article are listed in the very first page of her Chap record book. And they're backdated from the time she got the book to much earlier. So it kind of indicates that that's her core group of guy friends. So it's interesting to kind of see all those names pop up, in conjunction with Bernice. But we're already running out of time again for this round. So if you want to find out if Bernice married one of her guy friends, or maybe Walter, we'll have to vote it on into the Final Four. I can tell you that when Bernice did get married, she eloped. So the drama continues into the Final Four. Thanks for voting, and we'll see you for the next one.
Okay, so where we left off with this great trunk and this really rich story about World War I history, Maude Essig takes this trunk with her. She leaves Elkhart in September of 1917 by train and travels to Indianapolis. It is there she meets the other 60 women that are part of her group in the American Nursing Corps. They take their oath of office in Indianapolis and later take a train to basic training in New York City. During her time in basic training, which lasted 3 weeks, she learned how to march, she learned how to salute. For her, the thing she wrote about in her diary was the greatest thing was when she got her uniform, but also she got to explore New York City, the sights and the sounds, and most importantly, the food, so she could escape the terrible food that they had on the Army base. After her 3-week training, she gets further training in Hoboken, New Jersey at St. Mary's Hospital. During her time at St. Mary's Hospital, particularly on October 3rd, 1917, Maude and the other members of the American Nursing Corps, particularly Base Hospital 32, which was Maude's contingent where the nurses were going to be stationed at, participated in the Red Cross and Army Parade, which went up and down New York, a total of 69 blocks. She participated in it and later watched it. The parade lasted 6 hours, and Maude wrote that it was the most wonderful sight she had ever seen. That was on October 3rd. 2 months later, to be exact, on December 3rd, Maude boarded the USS George Washington and made the 16-day journey across the Atlantic to France. After landing in France, she took another 4-day journey before she arrived on Contrevel, France, at Base Hospital 32. So that's where we're going to end the story. We can continue it if this goes on to the Final Four. So vote for the trunk. My, oh my, what a bunch of good history that was. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did, learning about these objects, learning about the history, and learning about Elkhart County and its culture. So hopefully you're really taking in the information there. most importantly, I hope you're taking in that information so you can make a decision. So when this is posted online and it's various places, whether it be Facebook or YouTube, you need to vote. So vote early, vote, get your friends to vote, get your family to vote, get people off the street to vote. All they need is a Facebook or YouTube and the ability to write a comment. Everybody can do that. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be voting. So vote, 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 vote. So what's going to move on to the final four? Will it be Maude Essig, and we're going to learn the story of World War I nurse? Will it be the Chap Record Book, and we get to hear about all the interesting men in Elkhart County? The only way to decide is to cast your vote. We're going to see what goes on to the final four. So you have a few days to vote. The clock is ticking. Don't waste time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.